There we go. Hey, there's some people here. What the hell? Is this on? Can you hear me? No. Where are the comments? Pekko's here building his car. Still his car, not mine. Damn. I'm not late. Stream starts, then I show up a few minutes later. Okay, today we're going to talk about role centers because people always ask about role centers. So we have to talk about that. And we will talk about them in a bit of a different way today, which is how to think about them, different ways to think about role centers as a setup option. And I haven't prepared at all. So maybe Pekko can come and answer some questions for a few minutes, and then I'll think what I want to say about role centers. I have my Invisible Speed 2 book here, so maybe I can check the chapter on role centers and figure something out. Yeah. Okay. There's that. News. What's news? Online course. I'm going to be making the basic version of the course free for all. I'll post each video on YouTube also. And then the basic course, it has so much valuable information. I think especially for new people, that with it being free and also available on YouTube, that will be beneficial. And then the people who really get into it and want to know more and understand setup better, they would still have to purchase the course. So it's 50 euros for 3 months at the moment. That's what it's gonna stay at. So we need a bit more people here. What's a good number today? I haven't been promoting at all, so we'll probably have less than last time. But we need a number. Until then, we'll have Q&A. So ask your questions in the chat. Then we'll talk about role centers, and we'll have Pekko on to answer some questions too. 69. 69 is a very good number that we've used before. We'll do that. So we need 69 people watching, and then we'll start. So until then, post any questions you have. Pitäisikö mun tehdä vähän muistiinpanoa? Role centers. Okay. I actually had thought of 4 different ways to think about role centers. I think I wrote it down. Voiko olla vähän hiljaa? Mulla on live menossa. Let's see. Now I remember. Hey, positive comment from American Dream. Best and most humble man on YouTube teaching RC setups here. Hey, Pulitzer. Thanks. It's amazing. Especially coming from the American Dream. Well, we're going to answer this when we talk about role centers. So not yet. Q&A will have to be about something different. Set up baseline for MX8 for Euro 40 plus. You booked finally the hotel. Okay, I have booked the flight and that's it. No rental car or hotel. And my 40 plus euros car is here. This is it. But I have prepared an engine. The DP, which actually doesn't stand for what you would think it stands for. DP is actually Dakota Fend. So Dakota Fend edition of the Ultimate Racing, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, I guess this one is just DP, Ultimate DP edition. Anyway, it's ready. Clutch is on. The new AMAX, AMAX Ultimate air filters on there. We're good to go. Pre-broken in at the factory. Mitä? Pekko has been very busy. What would you call it? Call this coloring titanium, anodizing titanium on his own with some LRP LiPo batteries and Tupperware container, baking soda. So, yeah. And baseline setup, Baumann, I don't know. I think thick diffs pretty much maybe kind of what Robert ran at the Baltic Champs. Maybe that's a good starting setup. 56 people. We need more people. You need to share this. Maybe I post on Instagram that I'm live. Let's see. Let's get the link going. Where am I? Mm-hmm. Will you be doing 10-minute pit stops now? No way. I do not see that happening. I don't think that's possible. Oops. Oikeasti? Miten se on mahdollista? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna post on Instagram. We desperately need more people watching here. This is embarrassing. Let me see. What can we use as a picture? We need a picture. Live. I'm live. I don't have any good pictures here. What should we do? What can we do? You can hear that it's dremeling outside. $55 people. Embarrassing. Come on. Come on. We need any kind of decent picture. Okay, here we go. Now we need to post this. Okay. Tell some stories about Baltics while waiting. I don't have any stories about the Baltics. It's such a long time ago, I don't remember anymore. But we're heading back there on Monday with Pekko for 3 days of testing. They had one of those mechanical bull things to ride, and I basically won. I dominated. First I misunderstood the rules. I thought you were supposed to just fall off as quick as possible, and then I made up better rules, which was that it was all about style. So whoever had the best style on the bull won, and I definitely won that. Basically back, like opposite mount. So I was backwards, and yeah, it was really good. I was the best at the best style. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we're over 69 people. We can start. But first, this last question. How much or which topics in the Invisible Speed book would not apply to on-road touring car setup? Or does basically all topics carry over, such as link, arm height, springs, roll center, camber, etc.? Everything carries over. It's physics is physics. However, the preferences are different. And there are no jumps or bumps really to worry about in on-road. But I mean, the basic idea is the same, but it's difficult because what you feel on the track is somewhat different. So the explanation of cause and effect, cause, okay, same, but the effect, what you feel, it needs to be adjusted for on-road. And that's what I'll do. So that's why there's an on-road book coming. Okay, we dropped down to 68, so I can answer another question. My 22 Mayako on stock setup over rotates on the exit. Corner entry and mid corner is good. Happens on all track conditions. How to get it to drive straight out of the corner? One really good help is adjusting bump steer. So if you remove the shims on the Ackerman plate, so on the inside, so raise the link on the inside, basically, your bump steer will change so that as you get on power, the outside tire won't turn more, and you won't have that sort of sudden increase in steering as you get on power and exit corners. That's one really good thing. Another good idea could be to lower the rear link on the rear tower or raise the rear arm on the inside. Those things help to give the rear of the car more initial grip and square up instead of sort of keep turning or fishtail or over rotate on exit. But maybe we now see if Pekko increases the viewership now for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes of Pekko answering questions, and then I'll talk about roll centers. How does that sound? Is that okay? What do you think, Pekko? JQ, I hate you. Well, join the club. I was about to skip one night without research on RC topics to be faster, and you started your stream. I guess I'll stay here and open a beer. Well, thank you. Okay, let's go, Pekko. Pekko, you have 5 minutes to answer questions. Please post your questions for Pekko here in chat. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll try and remember what I wanted to tell you about roll centers. I had some brilliant idea, but I completely forgot to prepare. Okay.
What's up? Ooh, that's nice. So, can we have some questions? What's up? I heard some idiot from Finland would do one on-road book. I don't know who this guy is, but I think he will do. We'll see. What's up, Lefty? How are you? Maybe the final at the Baltics. What was missing? I have a question. What is your favorite zoo animal? Whew, that's a hard one. I think I really like to see pandas. I have never ever seen one, but they look quite cute, and I think they are like super close to me because I'm lazy and always sleeping, and they're the same. So basically, it's almost like me. What are the best Estonian foods? Oof. I don't know. I have no idea what are like normal Estonian foods. I have heard that they eat some sketchy shit, but I don't know. Can you give me some normal foods? Then I will know. I have no idea. Yeah, I think he has, but probably not with the touring car. But he's doing the experience with those, so I think it will be nice. At least he has now good car, which is Schumacher. I think I will start with the three alloy ones and two 1.0 and one 0.995 springs. That would be nice. We had, I think at the track it was actually super good food. Like the barbecue and everything was super good at RC Rakvere. So probably that was nice. Still sticking to Paul's training schedule, feeling now some result. Yeah, I have been working with him, and yeah, now we are going to practice, and we try to get best results at the worlds. So I can make practice at real track, not in VRC Pro. So that's nice. Pekko, how do you pick up girls at the club and ask JQ? I know the answer from JQ. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how to, and probably me either. Probably the best way is you just get super drunk and go there to pick up some girls that you don't remember next day. That would be the best. That's like proper Finnish way to do that. So that's nice. Miten saa muihin klubilla?
Klubilla
Niin.
on vaan oma itsensä.
He doesn't know.
No,
Yeah, I said he doesn't know.
Sanoin, että on vaan oma itsensä. Jalkes.
Uh,
I'll answer when it's my turn to be back.
Reducing the undiscovered kick-up will help on really bump or high grip tracks. My braking zones are perfect, but getting on throttle, the car bumps all over the place. Talking about pivot ball. I think on bumpy tracks, it's better to reduce anti-squat. Then it helps. But I think, yeah, I think reducing is better when we have like a lot of bumps and everything. Then it works better. What's your best mental RC test coaching practice you ever experienced recently? Probably always when I'm driving and Joseph is mocking me because I drive really bad, and then I got mad, and then I will drive better. That's how it usually works. Hey Pekko, what happens if you reverse the diffs? So instead of 2028, you have 8 2020. Probably, if you have diffs like that, then the car will turn in a lot more and have less grip from the rear. When you go on throttle, you have less grip. Probably, I would think so that will happen. Tell the ladies you are great at building battery powered devices. I think better is to use that I'm doing motorsport. I think that's better, in my opinion. No, you don't mention that it's scale motorsport. You just mentioned that it's motorsport. You can say I'm driving for a racing team, but never tell that they are toy cars. Oh, 87 people.
Okei.
It's growing.
Eli pitäisikö mun tulla takaisin?
I don't think so. It will go down if he comes back. So getting angry helps to drive better. Great. I'm going to ask my friends to kick me in the shin next time before I go up on the rostrum. I think it would be better just say something to you that not like kick you or punch you. That's not good. Not like Canas and Burak. Not like that. Are you afraid when having Grandpa Joseph as a mechanic for a long time, you learn a habit to go slow? No, I don't think so. I learn from his mistakes, so I won't be slow. Actually, it will be good at the plus 40. I can pay back everything he said to me while I'm driving, so that will be nice. I'm waiting to that. Pekko, you need to come to the Kyoso Masters with JQ next year. Bring a MPI Takei i3. Yeah, track is small, but the drinks are great. Yeah, for sure, the drinks are great. I don't know. That would be nice to reunite with my best car I ever had.
Oh my god.
He doesn't like when I say that, but that's Ferrari of RC.
Mä jakois Fiat.
Or does mental abuse work better for getting angry? I don't know. I always get angry because he's just saying the same things again and again.
Yeah,
And
because you're doing the same things again, and again.
Yeah,
It's annoying.
that's why. Yeah.
Can't
And
crash
also,
in the same spot 4 times.
yeah.
That's not allowed. Okay.
Okay. What does Canas and Burak do? So basically, at the Buggyland last year, they almost started to punch each other. So it was close, but thankfully our friend Robert was between them, and nothing happened. So is that everything?
Ole, mä voin tulla. Tuodaan kasa autolle.
He said he's ready. Oh wait. What happened to cause that? So basically, I heard that like Canas and Burak has always hated each other because they are taking each other out. So that's why. And I think someone hit someone at the race, and they just started to, I don't know, on purpose hit each other at the one electric final, and after that they started to fight. Daddy Robert saving the day. That's true. On 40 plus, you allowed to drink beer now, Becco? Yeah. Yeah, that's the only way probably I can get through that weekend, by drinking beer. Because otherwise, I will be super mad with Joseph because he's driving shit and making mistakes, like in Buggyland, making a mistake on the last corner of the last lap. Oh no, the second last lap. That was the easiest corner of the track, and he fucked it up, and basically lost the final.
Yeah.
And I did everything for him. I pitted. I literally I did 2.5 seconds pits, and that was faster than Ongero's mechanics, Canas's mechanics in the final. They did like 2.6, and I did 2.4, and we won like 2 seconds in the pit lane every time for this guy who was leading, and then he fucked it up on the last corner of the second last lap.
After
So-
just getting the lead.
That was nice. Yeah, after just getting to the lead. Yeah, on the first lap actually he lost the car.
Yeah.
Who lost their car on the first lap? He was like saying, "Where is my car? I don't see it." And like I don't understand. Like I would understand if the guy is like 60 and doesn't see the car or something like that from the rostrum. Yeah, that then it's fine. But this guy is still 40 and he can see, but he didn't see it. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it would be nice. The plus 40. Is it easier to pick up girls in the US or Finland? I have no idea. It's hard in Finland. Pekko, you did your best, but apparently your best was not good enough of JQ's last corner problems. Yeah, that's true. Oh, we are almost at 100 now. 91.
Nice.
What is the best 2WD 10K car currently? And that's Schumacher LD3. That's amazing. No, it really is. He said that.
Are you biased?
Yeah, but no, I'm not. That's the truth. Do you guys have your RC stuff up on dating apps? Worked well for me recently. Even sitting invisible speed worked well. Multi-purpose setup book. No. No. Of course you don't have the RC stuff on your dating apps. That won't work. I don't trust you. I think you are lying.
First of all, you don't go on dating apps. That's number one.
No, you can go, but not to say that you're driving RC.
I'm over that shit.
Ask JQ. Onko helpompaa saada muijia Suomessa vai Jenkeissä?
Suomessa vai Jenkeissä?
Niin. We are on at 100. That's nice. So basically, I should keep this live because people are
Okay, 100 people now can talk about roll centers. Okay?
nice.
Everyone wants
50
to know about
left.
roll centers.
50 left when you started to talk.
Where do we get? How do I show? I will show a picture and talk about it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Everyone needs to hit the like button. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Like, share, and
Yeah, that's
spam the breaks.
yeah, that's right.
Look at Pekko's car.
Yeah, it's actually super nice.
Blue.
Everything blue. Ignore this.
Where is the focus right now?
Yeah, the car is actually. It will be the best car I ever had. No. Sorry, Kyosho is the best car I ever had.
But this
This
is
will
going to be
be-
the nicest looking.
Yeah,
one.
nicest looking car. Yeah,
At least
for
that's
sure.
something.
Yeah, that's something.
We ran out of D plates.
Oh, we are at 106 already.
Okay, okay, I need to talk about roll centers now. Okay.
That's right. Pekko did all the heavy lifting to get 100 views.
Thank you, Pekko. Okay. Move over my time.
Okay.
Time to rule the street.
Now I will move over. See you guys.
Okay, let's see now. Let's see if we can maintain this momentum that Pekko built up. No, he doesn't think so. Where's the focus on this thing? Let's focus. Okay. I'm going to show you a picture, I think. Then we're going to start with my notes, start talking about roll centers, because everyone's always going on about roll centers and seems to be confusing. It is very important. But here we go. I will share something that I've used in the online course, I think. If you don't have that online course, then you're missing out. It's only 50 euros for 3 months. So everyone can afford it. Let me see. We need a roll center image. Where is it? Hello. I know I have this somewhere. This is why I should prepare for these, I think. That would be too easy. Unbelievable. This is actually ridiculous. Okay. If you have questions related to roll centers while I'm going through this, then please post them in the comments. And if you definitely want me to see them and answer them, you can post a super chat. Super chats goes towards fixing the holes in my wall, which are a result of my mental roll centers not being adjusted correctly. So when your mental roll centers aren't adjusted correctly, when you reach the limit of your performance capabilities, something very impulsive and surprising happens that catches you off guard. In my case, holes in the wall appear like that. With RC cars, it's the same thing. If your roll centers are not balanced correctly, your car can be okay, but then at the limit of performance, something very drastic and surprising happens, and we don't want that. So we're going to solve that today. So yeah, if you have questions though, post them in the comments. And I can't believe that I'm not finding the picture that I know I have. Why? Why is that? Oh my God. Such a mess. Such a mess. You know what? I'm just going to do it using the book. Okay. Here we go. A quick overview. Quick overview so we remember what's going on. Roll center. You remember in the book, there's many pages about this. It's drawing lines through the arms and upper links and then figuring out a point, a theoretical point around which the car rolls. This point isn't stationary. It moves. As the car moves, the point also moves. When you study the roll center as a car designer, you can predict how the car is going to handle. You can also match front and rear in different ways to generate certain handling traits in the car. We're going to talk about that also here. But what I want to highlight now is 4 different ways to think about roll center. Now, most of you don't know where the roll center is on your car. You just have a car. You have a bunch of turnbuckles, screws, nuts, bolts, arms, hubs, and that's it. It's just a mess. You don't know what's going on. And here's the thing. You don't really need to know. You don't need to measure it. You don't need to measure all the stuff, draw pictures, diagrams, and figure out where the roll centers are. You don't need to do that. There are other ways to understand where the roll center is and adjust them in the correct way. That's how we want to approach this now. I don't want you to start measuring stuff and figuring out where the roll center is. No, I want you to drive your car, look at your car, feel how it feels on the track, and then determine what to change. So how do you do that? First thing, where I would start. You have a random car, you're driving around the track. Where do you start? I think a good place to start. How do we do this now? I'm gonna make a note for you here. Let's see how this works. Banner. Create banner. Step 1. Oh, wow. Look how professional I am. Step 1. In versus on the track. This is the first way to think about roll centers. So, on the track, what does that mean? When you're driving around the track, your car feels like it's on the verge of flipping over. You can physically see it lifting up like this, for example. On the track means that your car is quite responsive, reactive, but basically your butthole is puckering as you're driving because you're almost flipping over. The car feels high and on the track and like it's about to fly off, explode off the track. So to avoid that, what you're constantly doing is slowing down, letting off the throttle, braking, coasting, reducing steering input. So you're driving around the track afraid of the car flying off. That means on the track. In the track is different. In the track, visually, you can often see that over here, you can see that the car is low, rolling, but it's rolling downwards. So up here on the track, car is high, lifting up. Down there, in the track, car is low, rolling downwards. Here, I actually did have a picture I can pull up on the screen. For this, it can be helpful actually to use video to determine this. If you can't tell yourself, video can help. Another good way is to actually walk out down onto the track yourself and drive through a section and just look at your car. Is it constantly jacking up, lifting up? Is it staying level or is it rolling down? I'm going to share a picture here where we can clearly see this. Where are we? Okay. So if you look at this picture, the above image, this is quite literally the same car, same track, same corner, back to back. The only changes were to the roll center. In the above picture, you can see on the track situation, you can see the car is lifting up. Lower image, you can see a more in the track situation where the car is level. If there was a third image for this situation, this scenario, I would have had to change other things to allow the car to roll more. And we could have maybe had an image where this is rolling downwards clearly. And that would definitely be in the track. So your car is on the track when you have a high roll center. Your car is in the track when you have a low roll center. This is all pretty easy to remember, right? It's logical, it makes sense. That's the first way to think about your roll centers. If you want to start adjusting your roll centers, look at how your car is driving around the track. Is it very aggressive? Does it look high on the track? Are you afraid of it flipping over? In that case, I would lower the roll center. I'll show you another picture and talk about how to do that in a moment. The opposite scenario, if your car is in the track, when you drive, the way you feel is that the car is safe And if you are in trouble, if you get in trouble, what you do is actually you add throttle. You get on power to stop the car from flipping over. It's the opposite to the above scenario. The above scenario, I said, what you do to avoid crashing is letting off the throttle, slowing down, straightening out the steering, things like that. So you're carefully driving around the track. When your car is in the track, the way to avoid crashes is actually to be more aggressive in a sense, add throttle, get on power to save the car from flipping over. So they are opposites. The downside of a car that is too far in the track is, especially when the track is looser, you will feel that you lack precision, and maybe the car feels loose, and when you accelerate, it wants to fishtail and not just square up and go straight. So anyway, these are ways that you can identify if your car is on the track with a too high roll center where you would lower it, or your car is in the track maybe with a too low roll center and you want to raise it. So this is step one. How to do this then? Okay, now we need another image. Am I making sense so far? I hope so. Let's see, there were some comments, I believe. Oh, we have a beer fund. Cheers. Yeah, the other thing that the super chats are used for is beer, so that I can make it through these therapy sessions. Beer fund now to be higher, folks. There are now 2 people, and the hole is still not fixed. Come on, people. Exactly. We both actually need beer, so we have doubled our beer fund requirements. There are a bunch of questions in chat. We are going to answer them, okay? But we have to go step by step. So we remember the first way to think about roll center is in versus on the track. Now I need to find a picture here. Oh God, where is it? Okay, I think I will instead. And now what I'll do is I'll twist the hub as if the car. Show a video. I don't know how to mute this. Why? Why? What do you think will happen? Why can't I mute the video? No. Oh God. What is happening here? Ah, there we go. Finally. I'm in full screen mode. I'm a mess. Okay, I'm going to share a picture here. Oh, it's whatever. It's from a video, but still it works. Okay, hopefully you see a picture of a car here, the rear end of the car. Might as well be front. Everything we are talking about here works the same front and rear, okay? Okay, step one, in versus on the track. How do you adjust in versus on the track? The way I would think about this, we need to simplify something complicated, right? Let's create some guidelines to follow. We have driven around the track. We have determined that our car is flipping over, crashing off the track. We are driving around the track carefully. It's quite aggressive. The grip is high. We need to change our roll centers so that the car is more in the track, less likely to flip over, more calm and stable. What do? What we do is we raise the link on the inside. Here, I guess. Now you see the mouse, hopefully. Here, the upper link on the inside, we raise it on the tower. We raise those links. By raising the links here, we are lowering our roll centers, and the car will be more in the track. We do this front and rear. Front and rear, we raise our links to move the car into the track, right? Another Yeah, the other option is that if we are on especially on a loose track, and we feel that our car is very loose, we don't have precision, we aren't able to exit corners and accelerate straight, then what we would do is we'd figure, look, it seems like we want more response. We want our car to be more aggressive, nimble on the track. We will raise these. We will lower. See, I'm getting confused myself. We will lower these links on the tower. We lower the links to raise the roll centers. Okay. Now, this I am explaining this first because I think it's the easiest, most straightforward place to start inverses on the track. Okay. Then we move on. Let's see first if we had a question specifically about in versus on the track. This applies to the front and rear, or just the rear, like those photos, front and rear. Now, for now, we are making changes to a car that we think is performing quite well, but we just have this issue. So, for example, it was flipping off the track. So we are making changes to the front and rear together at this point. So, step 2. What is step 2? Can I edit? Can I edit? Yes. Let's see. No, I can't. Step 2 is, I was debating which one to put as step 2, but I'm going to have to go here. I think this is the order that you should do it. And this is the hardest one, but we're going to tackle it now as step 2. Step 2 is balance. SETP. I can't spell. Doesn't matter. SETP 2. Step 2, balance character of the car. So we have successfully fixed the first issue of our car. We were at a track where the grip was higher than on the normal track we drive. And we had the problem that we were driving around the track with our butthole puckering because constantly the car was trying to flip off the track, and we had to drive carefully. We had to slow down, let off the throttle. So what do? We learned. We raise the links on the towers, front and rear, to lower the roll center, to make the car more in the track. Yippee, we are happy. Now our car is performing better. Okay, we moved the car into the track. What's next? Now we have to consider the balance front to rear. I wrote a really good explanation about this, which is public, I believe. Let's check. I think it is. It's on the Mayako wiki. Let's check it if it's public, just so I'm not lying to you. It's under the wiki.mayako.com and then interactive setup sheet. And then you click on any roll center. Yep, I believe you can access this. Okay. I'll show you. Interactive setup sheet. Let's see. Can you see this? How do I make this bigger? Have they changed something here? You can't go full screen. Why is that? Okay, I don't know how to make that full screen. That's annoying. But anyway, so if you go on the Mayako wiki and then interactive setup sheet, and then you click on any role center setting, you find this information about role centers. What we want to talk about now quickly here is upper link balance. This is important because this determines the nature of your car. So at the limit of performance, what happens? What is going to be the problem that you face? Which end of the car is going to be the one that you have issues with? That's what, and what are those issues? That's what's determined by the balance here. So, to change the role center balance, raise or lower only one end or change both ends in opposite directions. So, for example, if you change the balance front to rear, you might raise the link on the front tower and lower the link on the rear tower, or you lower the link on the front tower and raise the link on the rear tower. So you are making a change to one end or both, but if you change both, you are changing them in opposite directions. This is a way to change the balance of the roll centers in the car. So here, the end with the less angled link and lower roll center will have less initial grip. So less grip entering a corner, more grip mid-corner, and then won't grip as much as you get on power and accelerate out of a corner. That end of the car will also feel softer and more in the track and will handle bumps better. Then, the end with a more angled link and higher roll center will have more initial grip. So more grip entering a corner, a loss of grip mid-corner, and then it grips more again as you get on power and accelerate out of a corner. That end of the car will also feel stiffer and more on the track and will catch bumps more. So what does this mean? How do we think about this? The way to think about this is, if we do so that we raise the link on the front to lower the roll center, and we lower the link on the rear to raise the rear roll center, the way the car will drive is that the front end will feel softer. The front end will turn into corners smoother. The rear will have good grip, but then mid-corner, the front will still be gripping well, turning the car, and the rear will lose grip. So you drive in, it's smooth, then mid-corner, you will have rotation. The rotation is sort of because the rear slides. And then as soon as you get on power, the rear will grip again, stop the slide, square up and go. So this is a safe setting, I would say. The problem you could have is that mid-corner, you lose the rear end. But if you have that problem, you can make other setup adjustments to make up for it. But the basic nature of the car is such that the car turns in smooth, you have good rear grip. Mid-corner, the car rotates because you have maintained grip on the front, lose grip on the rear. But as soon as you get on power, the rear grips again. And this is why it feels easy to drive. So a lower front roll center, a higher rear roll center will feel easier to drive many times. In is easy. Mid-corner, you might have a problem, but you can solve it in other ways. And then as soon as you get on power and exit, easy again. That's why this is often a preferred way to set your roll centers. So what I just explained is low front. So you would raise your link on the front tower, and high rear. So you would lower the link on your rear tower. Then the second option is the opposite. So now you would set your car up so you have a high roll center in the front and a low roll center on the rear. So you are lowering your link on the front and you are raising your link on the rear tower. If you do this, now your car will drive, in many ways, it will drive the opposite. So going into corners, your front end will be responsive. So the car turns in well, middle of the corner and mid to exit, especially as you get on power, the way to turn your car, because it turns in well, but then the front end kind of loses grip after initially turning and the rear is gripping. So the way you have rotation is by allowing the rear end to roll. You get on power, the rear end actually starts to roll. This helps to give grip to the front end to turn the car, which rotates the car around. When you get on power, this is where it gets tricky. The rear is soft, right? If you get on power too much, you can overload the car, overdrive it. It can oversteer. It can feel like it wants to keep turning when you already want to go straight. On a loose track, you get on power, you can lose the rear and it can start to fishtail. So it's a very fast setting because you have good front end response going into the corner. Then as soon as you are in the corner, you know you're in the right place, you get on power, the car will roll and rotate quick. But you as a driver have to be very precise. You can't overcook it. You have to straighten the wheel at the right time. You have to drive the car out of the corner to avoid oversteer or avoid the rear sliding and fishtailing. So I hope this explanation helps to show you that there is a clear difference between the handling, and it's purely based on your roll center setting. So I repeat, this second example is one where your front roll center is high, so you lower the link on the tower, and your rear roll center is low, so you raise the link on the rear tower. That makes for a car which aggressively turns in the corner, but then to turn and rotate in the corner, get on power, car rolls, it rotates, but it's harder to confidently get on power and accelerate out because the car will have the tendency to keep turning. So let's think about this now again. Let's just take a step back. Let's look at this picture again. Let's imagine a scenario where we are at the track. We'll go step by step again. You know, I want this to really make sense for you because I know it's complicated, but we can make it through. We can do this. Even Pekko is listening, I hope, and hopefully something sticks in his brain. Step one, we'll recap a bit. Inverse is on the track. So we are at the track. We notice, damn it, we are driving around carefully. We are afraid of the car flipping over. We raise the links on the towers, front and rear, because we want the car to be more in the track and safer to drive. Job well done. Now we're happy. Except we have a problem now. The problem we have now is that when we get out of corners, the car feels too soft. What we feel is we go in a corner, everything's fine. Then when we get on power, it kind of collapses on the rear, and we feel like we don't know where the car is going to go. We want to exit the corner and just go straight, but the car kind of rolls and feels unstable, and it's hard to exit corners. I can show you a picture of actually, I have a picture here even. Let's see. I have a picture in the book or something like this. Maybe we can see that the car is actually doing something like this. You know, the car is really collapsing on the rear end, and maybe the front inside tire is even lifting up off the track. So what do? We now have a car that's in the track, but it feels soft and it's hard to exit corners confidently. Now, something we could do based on what we just went through is adjust the balance of the roll centers. What we do is we would lower the links, but only on the rear. We lower the links only on the rear. Maybe on the front, we could also raise the links a bit on the tower. So we are changing the balance of the roll centers. And what we hope to achieve, and maybe we do, is now having a car where we drive in the corner, we're confident, we get on power, and now we can do so confidently without the rear collapsing and the rear wanting to fishtail or the car wanting to oversteer out of the corner. So, job well done. In the Trackverse is on the track first, and then now we also adjusted the balance and character of the car. Okay. Next. What should be next? Those are two ways to think about roll centers. We have two more. I think I just thinking about this just now, I changed my mind. I think step 3 will be Robert's favorite. Step 3 is about support. Now we need to think about support. So we have set the roll centers to be low, so the car is in the track. We have set the front roll center to be low, the rear roll center to be higher, so that entering the corner, the car enters calm and stable. The rear has grip. Mid-corner, the car turns because the front still has good grip and the rear loses a bit of grip. As we get on power, the rear grips. Any potential slide stops. The car goes straight. We are driving confidently around the track like this. But if your name is Robert and you're Spanish and you're a world champion, then you will not be happy at this point, because when you walk off the driver's stand, what you say is, Pekka, correct me if I'm wrong. What you say is, I just, it's impossible to drive. I get on power and the rear just goes like that, and it's like moving too much, and you do not have enough support. It's collapsing. You want to push the car and confidently exit, but no, it feels too soft. It's collapsing. But you know that you've already adjusted. You have watched my video that I'm doing right now. You've watched this, and what you did is you already adjusted the balance of the roll centers, and it's correct, and everything should be good, but it's still rear. It's too soft. The rear is too soft. It's collapsing. What do? You don't have enough rear support. What you would do, the number one thing here, hopefully you see my mouse. I believe so. You raise the rear arm on the inside, just even 0.5 mil on the inside. When you raise or lower the lower arms, you are making a very small change in the actual roll center. So the roll center balance front to rear, or overall location of the roll center and how it moves. But what you are doing is you are greatly changing how the forces travel from the tire gripping the dirt and the body of the car wanting to, the inertia wanting to keep it moving in a certain direction, rolling, forces traveling through the lower arm and the hub and upper link. You're changing how those forces are traveling, what they are causing the car to do. So when you raise the lower arm, you are not really changing the roll center balance much, but what you can do is add a lot of support to the car. The car will be geometrically stiffer. When you move this location up, raising the inside of the lower arm, you are making the car stiffer. You are adding support. So the first thing I would do if Robert comes off the driver's stand complaining that his car is lacking support, I would raise the inside of the lower rear arm. There are, of course, other changes that you can do, anti-roll bars, hard anti-roll bars, standing up, rear shocks, harder springs, all of those things. But those also all affect different aspects of performance. And the roll center and the forces traveling through the car is a really good sort of fundamental way to define the character and nature of the car. That's why that's step one. And then everything else is fine tuning around that. If you have a lower arm that's very low, the car will always feel soft at the limit. So you will constantly be sort of struggling to run a harder spring, harder roll bar, harder rear oil, stand up rear shock. You do all these things, then the grip goes up a bit, the forces are higher, and you once again have that problem, right? So what you instead want to do is you want to adjust the car geometrically correctly so that as the grip goes up, so do the forces through the arms and links, and they just keep supporting the car at that location you want it to be. So as traction goes up and you need more support, you have more support because the geometry of the car is supporting it. So you're not relying on a spring that has a set spring rate or an anti-roll bar that has a set thickness. You're relying on the geometry of the car, keeping it where you want it to be. That's why it's step number one to adjust the geometry. Am I making sense, people? I hope I am. There's still people watching, so I think I am. Pekko, did you understand anything of that? Oh, I don't know if Pekko is understanding. He's looking confused. Oh, he's not listening.
I'm just doing my car.
So support. We can also have an opposite problem. We can have a problem where we did step number one. We are now in the track with load roll centers, okay? We've done step number two. We've adjusted the balance. We now have a car where we adjusted it in a way where it feels safe to drive for us. But we have a support issue. The car is driving around the track and it's just too stiff feeling. Mid corner is where you would notice this. You would suddenly lose traction. Maybe the easiest is the rear end, to talk about the rear end, that you are mid corner and the rear just slides out. Often, if you sort of are able to visually look at the car, go down on the track, look at it as you drive, or have someone film the car, you can see if the car is staying high, raising up like we talked about before, but we've already adjusted that, so it's not really raising up. It's just looking stiff, not rolling much. We can lower the rear arm on the inside, just 0.5 mil. And that will help to give you more grip mid-corner. Sort of off power, you have more grip. So it can also be used in the opposite way, where you have too much support. You are not allowing the car to roll, to absorb any imperfections in the track surface as you corner. And then that can cause you to suddenly lose grip. So maybe you want to soften that car a bit. This is something Robert never does, but us humans, we might want some more give in the geometry, and then we would lower the rear arm. Okay, so now we've covered 3 different ways to think about setup. The first 2, which were in versus on the track, we are moving just the upper links on the towers. And the second one, the balance, just the upper links on the towers. For support, now we are moving the lower inside arms up or down. Step 4, what's step 4? Step 4 is a favorite, invisible speed favorite, because, come on, I think we coined this term. Step 4 is initial versus overall grip. Who would have guessed? I'm completely ignoring comments because I'm going to lose my train of thought. We'll cover the comments to clarify all this after. Step 4 is initial versus overall grip. So we've gone through the painstaking process of figuring out our setup. Now we think about, how is it feeling? Is it very responsive and aggressive overall, the car? Do we feel that we have a high peak of initial traction and then we lose traction? Or do we feel that the car is very smooth and forgiving and almost sliding a bit too much and not responsive enough? So when it's very responsive and edgy and nervous, we have a lot of initial grip. That grip is something that builds up quick and then you lose it. Overall grip, it doesn't build up as high or as quick, but it's more constant, more consistent. So this we can't only think about for the entire car. Now we have to think about a bit the front end or the rear end of the car. Where are we having a problem? This is where the book comes in handy also, because of this. The corner image. This thing. The corner image. Corner entry is about initial grip, because, well, let me rephrase that. Corner entry and exit. If you are having problems there, you probably want to add initial grip, because initial grip will mean that you enter corners well, or you have precise steering, or the rear has good grip entering corners, or when you exit corners, the car grips well and straightens out, accelerates straight. So if your problems are entering or exiting corners, most of the time you want to add initial grip. Mid corner, if you have a problem where you're losing traction suddenly, so as you're supposed to rotate, either nothing happens because the front end doesn't have any traction, or you lose the rear end suddenly and you have oversteer. Mid corner, you probably want to add overall grip and reduce initial grip from one end of the car. Right? So thinking about this front and rear separately, and also the different parts of the corner, makes sense. I actually think that I had one corner image which was about this exact thing. Let's look it up and talk about it a bit. And now this is where all the different roll center settings come in handy. Okay, I found it. I don't need to think because I already thought about this and wrote it. Okay. Initial grip versus overall grip. Let's think about it. So if we are entering a corner, let's actually open it up here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show this to you. I'm such a nice guy, aren't I? I'm just going to share my screen here. Bear with me when I look it up. For fuck's sake. By the way, my favorite joke in the world, I was able to use it in real time, and it actually worked. Pekka, do you know this joke? So I was in Ireland for the first time, and actually then went to Northern Ireland for a race. And this joke only works if you have an Irish accent, which I'm not very good at doing. But the joke is, why do you say knife and fork in Ireland? Why do you not say fork and knife? You say knife and fork. And I was there, so I remembered this joke, and I asked them there. I asked Bradley Baird and his family, why do you say knife and fork in Ireland? And they didn't know. I couldn't believe it. And then I said, because when you say it the other way, it's, where's me fucking knife? And that's rude. That is the best joke in the history of the universe. Pekko, no? Where's me fucking knife? Anyway, it worked because I asked them to say that, and it really does sound like where's my fucking knife? It really does. So anyway, what was I doing? I was looking for my corner image.
How many genders are there? I just got the.
That's okay. Pekko said there was a better one. There's a video of someone. It's a video of some street interview, and a guy is asked like, "How many genders are there?" And his reply was, "I don't know. I just got here." I said, "What the fuck? Are you an alien or something? What's going on?" I think. Just your average American. Okay, sorry, there was a brain malfunction there. Let's see. What am I looking for? Roll center corner image. We're almost done. We're getting distracted now here. We have to talk about initial versus overall grip. Hey, where can I find this? Page 77. What is happening with my PDF? Okay. Share screen. Okay, here we go. Look, this is now almost full screen. I don't know how this works. Why wasn't the other one showing? Anyway, roll center height and how that affects initial versus overall grip. On corner entry, a higher roll center will be more aggressive. The car can flip over. This means you have more initial grip. A lower roll center will be smoother on entry, but it can be imprecise. Mid corner. This is where the problems usually arise, and usually you will be able to identify any kind of issues here. So the way the car rotates mid corner with a high roll center is a rotation by losing grip. It can be edgy. You can lose grip suddenly or catch bumps. The car could lift up. These are all ways to tell that you have too much initial grip in the car. Your roll center is too high or too stiff. Low roll center mid corner. Rotation by roll. It's safer feeling mid corner. You maintain grip. The car rotates, but you have grip. The car is in the track. That is mid corner. Corner exit with a high roll center. You have good grip, stable exit, precise. With a low roll center, lower grip exiting the corner because you don't have that initial grip to square up and accelerate. So it's harder to straighten out and go. The car can fishtail, feel unstable or imprecise, or it can roll too much onto the rear, and Robert will yell at you because the car doesn't have support. So what do we do here? When we adjust, see, now I need that other picture again. When we adjust for initial versus overall grip, I think it's good to think about all the different ways to adjust roll center. And oh my God, we need that image again. Oh my God, what is happening? What are you doing? Kato, kamera tilttas. My camera is... Why are you doing this to me right now? Kato vaan. Tilttasi jo täysin. No, do not do that. Hello? Oh my God. I want to destroy this camera. Maybe I'll make a video with another camera of me doing that. Why is it doing this? It started opening some EOS utility bullshit that I don't want now. No, quit. Just work in StreamYard. Bastard. Okay. Can you hear me at least? Let me figure out how to do this. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Someone shoot me. There's still 132 people. Everyone hasn't left because of this bullshit. Okay. Let's attempt to reboot. Oh my... Ei vieläkään. Siis mitä tätä vaivaa oikeasti? Okay, we're back. Almost had another hole in the wall up here. Jesus Christ. I hate technology. I really do. Okay, where the hell were we? We were trying to do a conclusion, I think. Oh, no. We were still on initial versus overall grip. Okay, let's open that picture back up. My brain just melted. I can't even find anything anymore. Oh my God. Okay. So we need the picture so we can continue this. Get to the end of this. Okay. Sorry about that. We just had a slight technical mishap here because I'm an idiot. But it's okay. Who's in a hurry anyway? Okay, initial versus overall grip when it comes to roll centers. Here we go. Now we need to talk about everything. We can adjust this in so many ways. Let's talk about the upper link first. Longer link. So now we can do this front and rear together if we want, or just to one end. But a longer link on the hub here, it will slow everything down. All the changes that happen slower. So less initial grip, more overall grip. This is really good for calming the car down on corner entry, maintaining grip mid-corner, but then out of the corner, it won't square up as well. So if you're having issues entering corners and mid-corner, longer links can be a solution for you. What else? Axle height. We haven't talked about that, but axle height changes the roll center too. And again, initial versus overall grip is a good way to think about axle height. With a lower axle, shit, I was on the wrong screen. So long upper link, I was showing this here on the hub. Axle height, this is the axle. Axle height is the distance from the axle to the outer hinge pin here. This vertical distance, that is axle height. When this distance is short, you have a low axle. A low axle gives more initial grip. A high axle, more overall grip. So again, now we understand this shit. We've been talking about this forever, right? More initial grip with a low axle height, you will have more grip entering the corner. Mid corner, you will have potential issues, and then exiting the corner, you again have good grip. So with a low axle height, what can happen in a corner is the car can be edgy, it can catch bumps, you can suddenly lose traction. That can be a problem. So if you have problems, for example, with the rear end, we're looking at the rear end, so this is easy to understand. If you have a problem where mid-corner you're losing grip, the car's edgy, catching bumps, every lap is different, you can't just drive smoothly around the corners, try to raise your axle height. So the axle is further away from the hinge pin. This distance, this vertical distance is larger. You have a higher axle. You have less initial grip, more overall grip. So if you raise your rear axle, going through a corner, entering neutral, mid-corner, smoother traction. You don't have as much traction, but that allows you the rear end to sort of slide around bumps, slide over bumps, not catch edges, not lose rear traction suddenly. You can control this. Then when you get on power, neutral again. It doesn't square up super quick like with a low axle, but it's good. You want it to smooth out the car, right? So you have a high axle. Initial versus overall grip. You can also adjust it on the inside here, raising or lowering the rear arm. But now you have to remember the other things you did before. So if you, for example, had the problem of not having enough support, step number 3 was support, remember? What is happening? Technology and me, yeah? Step number 3 was support. If you had the problem before where your rear end felt soft as you are exiting corners, as you get on power, the rear just rolls too much and it's squirmy and sucks, and your name is Robert, you raised the arm here on the rear, on the inside, to add support. So then if you are thinking about initial versus overall grip and you're thinking, well, I have a bit too much initial grip, I think I need to make the rear of the car somehow a bit more forgiving, you don't want to go and lower this. You don't, because you raised it for a reason. You want the car to have support, but also you want it to be more forgiving. So that's why, okay, you don't change this now. Instead, maybe a longer link, maybe a higher axle height. You see what I mean? You use some other aspect of the geometry to give you what you want. You keep the support. You already adjusted your upper links on the inside, which is the best way to set the balance. In versus on the track first, and then the balance. You've done that. You've adjusted your lower arm on the inside to set the support level you have. Now you are thinking about initial versus overall grip, and you're fine-tuning your setup with axle height and link length. Am I beginning to make sense? So you don't go back and mess with these things that you already messed with to get to this point. Now you are just figuring out axle height and link length. And you know what? After you've done that, you might still not be happy, but that's where all the other settings of the car come in. Now you start talking about hub position, front to back, diff height, anti-roll bar, spring, shock position, droop, diffs, shock piston, shock spring, all these other things, which are actually in the Invisible Speed book or in the online course. These 4 steps that we have here when we talk about roll centers, the first, inverse is on the track, moving the upper links up to lower the roll centers, have the car more in the track, make it more safe to drive. We are winning. Job done. We move on to step 2. We adjust the balance, that basic nature of the car at its performance limit. What is our main problem? Is our problem going to be that we lose the rear end as it slides in a corner, or it's a bit hard to drive off power, the car feels loose, but on power we always have good initial grip and we can know exactly where the car goes? Is that our problem we're trying to solve, like the balance between an easy car to drive and one that gets loose off power? Or the opposite, where the problem we have is pushing that car too much and it rolling too much and oversteering out of corners or fishtailing, so the car feels soft, but we can easily push too hard? Which is our problem? That's what we set with the balance. We do it with the upper links, raising and lowering links in opposite directions, front to rear. We spoke about this before. We're changing the balance. So we've done that. We have now set our roll centers with the upper links on the inside on the towers. We don't want to touch those anymore. Next, we talk about or think about support. The best way to adjust support is the inside of the lower arm. When we talk about support, it's often the rear end, but sometimes also the front. Maybe entering a corner, the front dives very deep. Maybe we raise the arm on the inside on the front to keep the car more level as we enter corners, for example. So it's not just the rear. This is a picture of the rear, but same applies for the front. So now we have, after thinking about roll center in 3 different ways, we have adjusted the roll center with the links on the towers, front and rear, the height of the rear arm on the inside, the height of the front arm on the inside. Step number 4, we think about initial versus overall grip. What's happening in entry of a corner, mid corner, exit of a corner. The way we adjust it is we don't anymore want to change the links or the height of the arms. Now we adjust the length of the upper link on the hub or on the inside, and then we adjust the axle height. We do that front and rear to adjust initial versus overall grip through a corner. Yes? Am I making sense? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Am I speaking English? After we have done these 4 things, only then do we start adjusting everything else. Anti-roll bars, shocks, shock positions, hub position, front to back, droop, camber, all that shit, right? I hope that made sense. I really hope so. Now I will check a few comments here. Okay. Very relevant comment. Did you see Hurlings this past weekend? Yes, I did. Especially Moto 1 was amazing. 20 seconds back or something. Caught and passed all those other guys. He is amazing in the sand. Most appropriate arm height, front and rear for high grip tracks. So these are good questions now to sort of specify a bit what we just covered. Support. It's about support, right? The thing is that even though I broke this down in this way, where I said, okay, first we think about this and we adjust it with the links. Then we think about that, we adjust it with the arm height on the inside, right? It's a way to sort of create a template that you can follow. But all of these things affect each other. And all of these things can be used to adjust these various aspects of the setup. Like you can use not just the lower arm height to adjust for support. You can use it to adjust front to rear balance. You can use upper links to adjust for support. not just in or on the track, in or on the track, or balance front to rear. Do you see what I mean? But the way I broke it down is a simplified way to efficiently and effectively think about roll centers and adjust them, because it's like the arm height, the most obvious thing it does is affect support. That's why it's good to think about support when you think about the arm height, right? So I would say that on high grip tracks, it depends on the problem you're having, right? Because the height of the arm will depend on the entire rest of the setup you have. So you can't say, definitely do this, it's going to be better. You have to analyze your own car and what you're feeling and what it's doing on the track. A lower arm on the inside will naturally be softer and allow the car to roll down if the rest of your setup allows for that. A higher arm on the inside, the car will be stiffer. You will have more initial grip, more support. That can be better for you. The car can be more stable, but it can also cause your car to be harsh on bumps or flip over, all these other things. Like everything affects everything else. So there's not a most appropriate arm height, front or rear, for high grip tracks, in my opinion. I really don't think so. There's like the right height for the track and the setup that you're running and your preference. What I can say for the Mayako, for example, is that we would often have on high grip tracks sort of our normal or higher arm heights, because what we are doing is high grip. We want to have support to support the car. So the arm height on the inside is high. We definitely don't lower them a lot, because if you have a very low arm height on the inside on high grip, you will always be trying to stiffen up the car because it's not supporting, the geometry isn't supporting the chassis enough. So I would say high grip track, you run your sort of normal to high arm heights. Okay. Would you go longer upper link on the hub in the rear, or raising the link on the tower as your first step to lower that roll center? So based on what we spoke about, first step, we would be moving the link on the tower up or down. So in this situation, if we want to lower the roll centers, we raise the links on the towers. That would be step one. I'm having trouble with my Tekno Truggy rotating. Any thought on what to change to make it rotate better? I have 1 million different thoughts, which are all in this book. Yeah, there are so many different things that you could do there. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Is it not rotating off power, on power? What kind of corners? Like, you just need more steering in general? I don't know. The more you know, the less you are able to answer these questions, I have noticed. We have a super chat. Thank you for all your knowledge. Keep up the hard work. Well, $20. So what do we get? Like $15?
Six-pack of beer.
Whoa, we can get beers for next. Thank you, Trevor.
6-pack of beer.
Really? No, we can't.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, actually, we can. 6-pack.
Does it matter what brand of car it is? Sorry, I'm 7 months into RC. Okay. Everything I explained is relevant to all cars, but there is one problem. Some cars have a design where their roll centers are sort of very far one direction. So when you look at the car, oh, my links are up on the front and down on the rear, and this is the balance. It's not actually the balance. What is relevant is when you set everything to the middle, where are the roll centers? If they are very far in one direction, you might not be able to adjust them in the way that I explained. So that's a problem. So Mayako, you can do this well because you can really set the car up far into one direction, but you can do it then in the opposite direction too if you want. Some cars like HB back in the day, you couldn't really. It was so far in one direction. So it does matter which car you have, but the theory and everything is the same. Okay. Oh, look. The guy who with a techno trouble rotating. When I say rotate, I mean on throttle. So on throttle, if you need the car to steer more a good way, thicker diffs, thicker center diff, thicker rear diff, for example, that can help the car to rotate more on throttle. Also, if your droop is messed up, maybe if you have more front droop, car will rotate more. Or if you make the rear end softer a bit, softer roll bar, or lean the rear shock down on the tower, or softer spring, something like that, the car can rotate more also when you get on power. Do you adjust camber after raising or lowering the links? Yes. So I think ride height you set first, whatever ride height you run, then you set your camber with that ride height. And yeah, you always do that when you make any changes. Do you still offer the courses online? Yes, I do. Invisiblespeed.net, or you can go courses.invisiblespeed.net. Could you win with an older car, say 10 years old? Yes, you could. I do believe so. The cars haven't really evolved that much. Mitä? No se kyllä on pöysiväinen, niin kuin sanot. Okay, anything else? Oh, we got Swedish crowns. Beer, tech, and whole fund.
How much is that?
Is that €6 or so, I think? Okay, it makes sense. I done right with the roll center height and axle height. Car feels stable and balanced. Nice. My X-ray is always loose on power. Lol. Yeah. What about a really rough, jumpy track and you raise the inside of the arm, you have less ground clearance? It's not about ground clearance. Raising or lowering the inside of the arm isn't about ground clearance. But when you do that, remember you have to readjust your ride height and droop, especially droop, because of the droop screws. Okay, you know what? Let's do something here. The thing is that I do these relatively random, but they're Thursday night lives, and they're called therapy sessions. It's because we do therapy for your cars. We talk about setup therapy, so you can have a nice chat with your car and make some adjustments and improve it. And then what do I get? Hopefully someone buys a book or a course. But also I use this as therapy for myself. So I have, I don't know what I have, but it's this thing where if I publicly say something, I have to do it or make a change, or sort of I have to think about it. You know, so we have had a very humble approach these last couple of YouTube lives, and we've simply just been trying to solve the world's problems, basically. And it was all Thibaut's fault, because Thibaut called me the worst, sorry, the worst person he has ever met. Thibaut said that to me at Silver State and deeply affected me. Not because I care what he thinks, but more because I started thinking about, like, he really believes this. Like this, he really believes this in his heart. How is that possible? Because it's not true. And that went into the whole perception versus reality stuff that we were talking about, right? And how my argument was basically that people don't think enough. People just respond emotionally. They have an emotion, a feeling, and then they just go, okay, I'm going to make up my opinion now based on this emotion I'm feeling. Facts don't matter anymore. I think that it makes a lot more sense to agree on reality, agree on a set of facts. Then after we agree on that, then we make up our mind based on also emotions, feelings, all our lived experience, or everything. We put everything into that. We agree on the facts. Then we add to that our own opinion. And that opinion would be an informed one, which can be shared with people. Different people can have different opinions, but they are all based on the same reality, the same set of facts, right? This is kind of the argument I had. And it's becoming an increasing problem because of social media, all kinds of fake information out there, and people just believing it without questioning it. And so it's just getting out of hand, right? And I said that I don't really have a solution. I don't really have a solution for all the world's problems. We set out to solve that, but we couldn't. Unfortunately, the Invisible Speed live YouTube videos were not able to reach a solution to the world's problems. But I forgot something, and I remembered it. So I want to add it now. I actually have a solution which doesn't solve all the world's problems, but it solves this problem, which is each of us individually being a part of the problem or not. We can actually affect this. We can be we can choose to not make the world a worse place. Let's put it that way. Really, we can. Pekko, you can, by thinking about this now, for the rest of your life, you can be a force for good in this world. You know that, Pekko?
Yeah, like Max.
Like, no, not like that. You see, here's the thing. So last time we talked about the things happening in the UK, you know, the riots and protests against immigrants, and how, like, my opinion was that the problem isn't really the immigrants. They are not really ruining the country or the society. I think the problems are maybe elsewhere with the people who actually have power and wealth, and that's kind of where the problems come from. You know, governments, corporations, all of that. That they have maybe a bit more influence than some migrant family, right? But when you look at the world, it's complicated, right? There's a reason for people leaving their homes and traveling to Europe or America. Like, why are they doing that? Oh, it's because of the whole global structure, where to be rich and to have RC cars and these cameras that mess up when you're trying to do a live stream, and all of these things that we have, all these opportunities we have in Finland, for example, to be able to have this, there are a lot of people who basically are required to struggle. Because I lost my phone. To have this phone, let's just think it individually. Like, if I think about myself, I have this phone, right? I bought this phone. Even just that, like, this phone has all kinds of minerals that kids in Africa mine for, right? I know that. I know that. I put diesel in my van. I know all the wars that have been fought because of that and still are, and all the people who suffer so that we can have that cheap petrol and diesel, and I can have this, and we can have computers and all that stuff. I know that's happening, right? So we are all in a way part of this system that is unfair and unjust and cruel. But it's the only way to exist in this world. We have to. I'm not going to have a phone. I'm not going to be some hippie living in a field. Like, what the fuck? That's not going to solve anything. That's not a solution. Going backwards to the Stone Age is not a solution, because we have so much great stuff also thanks to this, right? Like RC cars and YouTube and healthcare, all kinds of stuff, right? Advances. So what's the solution? It just hit me. It's this English rapper called Akala. He actually solved the problem. He has a line, I think the song is called Find No Enemy. And go find it, Akala, Find No Enemy, and listen to that song. In the end, he says, if we ever want to change anything, we have to look in the mirror and find no enemy. And that is the solution. If we ever want to change anything, we have to look in the mirror and find no enemy. If everyone, including Pekko, if this motherfucker back there, if he can wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and not find an enemy, that's a good thing. What does that mean? It means that he is actually, his opinions, how he interacts in the world, how he exists, he is no one's enemy. Right? If we all did that, if we all behaved in a way and existed in this world and made decisions where we are not someone's enemy, we would be doing good in this world, guaranteed. More good than bad. And this is the issue that I have with these people like Tommy Robinson or Andrew Tate and all these fucking guys, right? We won't mention any Americans now, so you don't get your panties in a twist, but it's pretty easy to figure out who they are over there too. Those people, they cannot look in the mirror and think, you know what? I'm no one's enemy, because they are. They very clearly, by the misinformed, ignorant opinions they hold, they become the enemy of large amounts of people. Tommy Robinson, by claiming to be for peace and safety and justice and all of those things, the way he goes about it is by becoming the enemy for all immigrants and all Muslims and black and brown people and that's fucking stupid, really. That is not the way to that is not a way to contribute positively to this world. It just isn't. And it annoys me that people who think they are good people and who think they are positive force in the world, how they support people like that or opinions like that. So there we go. Akala actually solved it. If we ever want to change anything, we have to look in the mirror and find no enemy. That is the fucking solution. Yeah. Who would have thought? It was actually that easy. Yep. We stand on the shoulders of other people's suffering. Always has been. Yes, it always has been, always will be. But I think that we can improve, or at least sort of limit it and work towards improving that. That would make a lot more sense. Difficulty being everyone's belief of what is good and bad varies wildly. Yeah, we covered that like in a previous live. And of course, you will inevitably be someone's enemy. But also, you sort of, on a human level, you don't have to be. Really. Really. Amazing. Amazing what me being the worst person Tibo has ever met, what it resulted in. When you are no one's enemy, we all would be looking and feeling the same. We would also never get encouraged to improve. No, that's not what that means. It is the balance in not having too many enemy, but the right ones. No, I disagree, because what that means is that it doesn't limit what people's opinions are or think or how they act or what they do or blah blah, everything. Like, there's great variety in the world still. That wouldn't change, but it would by default eliminate unnecessary cruelty and suffering. It just would, because if the way you think is that, like, okay, my goal is to not be anyone's enemy, then I mean, how could it result in anything else, really? If we just take a really basic example, let's see. Don't agree with that. Humans have an intrinsic need for improvement, but it varies between different individuals. Some might feel, though, that they need an enemy to improve towards beating. Enemies can, I mean, in racing, we want to beat each other, but we aren't beating enemies as such. You know, we are all in the same industry here, trying to grow the industry. We are, in a sense, working towards the same things, but when it comes to racing, we want to beat each other, right? So I don't see how that would be any different in any other aspect of life. Like, for us to want to have nicer things and a better life, it doesn't mean we have to have an enemy, or we have to behave in ways that oppress others. Like, those don't have to be like, I don't believe that has to be the case. Opponents are not enemies. Exactly. Now, these guys, Americans, I think you need someone to try to beat in order to improve. Yeah, but on what level? Beat in what level? At what? At competition for something? Yeah, sure. But we don't, like, the argument, I think, is, if we look at the UK again, because that's what we were talking about, how does the UK become a better country if you hate immigrants? Like, I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, how? Explain to me. Like, what do you need to do that actually to improve a society? I don't understand. It does not make sense to me. It's more, I think it has more to do with the sort of your fundamental role centers in your values and morals and your brain. The role centers in your fucking mind, where are they set? right? Whatever happens in your life, if you have a personal relationship, for example, let's say you have a bad breakup with your girlfriend. Do you hate your girlfriend after that? Like, do you hate her? No. Why? You loved this person, you were together. Now you are no longer together. So how do you function? Do you now hate that person? Are you not, do you now wish ill on that person? When you look in the mirror, are you that person's enemy now? This is what it means. Or can you understand, okay, so these things happened, we are not together, but I respect this person. I'm not this person's enemy, because that's who I am as a person. I am not this person's enemy, because that is not what I believe. That is not the way I live. That's what it means, in my opinion. Right? Am I crazy? It's like Tebow. I'm the worst person Tebow's ever met, but am I truly Tebow's enemy? Am I doing things to cause him to view me as his enemy? I mention him in this live stream. Does that make me his enemy? Maybe he thinks so, but that's kind of my point. As a UK resident, I am both shocked and embarrassed to live in this country at the moment. The views of the world on the UK must be at rock bottom. To outrun another racer, you beat him at the track, not go burn his RC shop down. Exactly. Okay, anyway. I just thought that kind of solves a lot for you personally. We solved roll center settings for your car, and then we also figured out a solution for the roll center settings in your head. So next time you look in the mirror, consider if you might be someone's enemy. Do you find an enemy in there? If you find enemies, looking at yourself, if you are an enemy of someone, figure out if that can be changed. The race for improvement is also one of the root causes. How far we want to go, the belief system between people's countries, religion, I would say, is the major problem. Yeah, but you know the solution to that? Look in the mirror and find no enemy. It fucking solves all of what you were complaining about there, if everyone did that. It needs a big unity to get us together, maybe an alien invasion. Or you can look in the mirror and find no enemy. Really. Fucking works. Think about it. The only person that I'm the enemy of is sitting right there, Pekko. I'm his enemy. But it's because I want him to drive better.
That's not true. You're not my enemy.
Actually, I'm not. Yeah.
There's only one guy who is my
enemy. Okay. Will we see you next Thursday? No, we won't, because I'm traveling to the 40 plus euros.
We can have traveling live.
Oh, traveling live, apparently, says Pekko.
What do you think? Would that be good?
Traveling live?
Traveling live.
Would that be good? I don't know.
We will be there already.
Will we? Maybe, yeah. Maybe we can do one on Thursday. A different one from Germany. Thanks for your video. I'm new on this sport and your suggestions were very helpful. Okay, I'm glad it helped. My enemy is getting ready for the 40 plus euros. That's David Bauman.
I think your enemy is yourself.
This is actually true. Pekko is very insightful. The problem that I've been having when I look in the mirror and I think like, okay, look in the mirror and find no enemy. The problem is that I'm the enemy of myself. That is the problem. So that's really what I've been trying to eliminate. I can see this, like, all these people and things like, okay, I'm not this person's enemy or that, like, improving a lot, but I'm still my own fucking enemy. That pisses me off. So I have to work on that. Travel live with Bia and Jägermeister at the airport. Yeah. JQ recommend some clutch bell bearings. Mayako. There we go. Easy. Mugen. What the fuck? Okay, now we have to go. It's late. I'm tired. I want to finish building my car. Well, start actually. Okay, thanks a lot. Remember, 4 different ways to think about role centers. Do all that stuff, and then every time you look in the mirror, think, do I find an enemy? Hopefully you don't. E-buggy. We're out.